Let me start it. So Mirza, our topic of discussion is Informatica Power Center. It's not Informatica MDM, Informatica IDQ. We are discussing about Power Center here. We are more focused on dealing with data. Informatica Power Center is one of the enterprise data integration products. I'll repeat, it is one of the enterprise data integration products.
Okay.
There are other data integration products. It is one of them. It is used for extracting data from sources might be heterogeneous or homogeneous. So Informatica is used to extract the data from our sources, transform the data, and load the data into our heterogeneous or homogeneous targets. Heterogeneous
Okay.
means there might be multiple kind of sources, like one of my source is flat file, another one is a Oracle table, another one is a SQL Server table, and my target may be Netezza, and one of the targets may be a SQL file, sorry, XML file. So this is the advantage when we are using Informatica. It provides us freedom of whatever my source is and whatever is my target. So in Informatica, we are just concerned about data, not the database. Informatica takes care of the homogeneity or heterogeneity of databases. Okay?
Okay.
So write it down. The definition of ETL is extract, transform, and load. Okay?
Yes.
So let's talk about extraction. Extraction involves understanding, analyzing, and cleaning of source data. Can you write it down?
Yes.
So extraction में क्या क्या steps हैं? Understanding, analyzing, and cleaning of source data. Okay?
Okay.
Sometimes it is called massaging of data. We are just getting our source data ready for being transformed.
Okay.
Next part is transformation. Transformation involves cleaning and filtering. So it is basically cleaning of data more precisely and modifying the data as per business requirements. Suppose in source I have a field called name like this. In target I need it to be like this. So these kind of handlings will be done in transformation part. Suppose I have an integer like this in my source. In target I want it like this. So these handlings will be done in transformation part. Third part is load. It involves assigning the dimensional keys and loading the data into the warehouse. Mirza, are you familiar with the dimensional data modeling concepts?
Yes. Little bit.
You know what dimensions are, what fixed are, what a data
Yeah.
warehouse is, what a data mart is.
Yes. A dimension basically it is like a attribute of the object,
Mhm.
right? And fact means like a measurement. All the measurement object will be in the fact.
Mirza, remember these 5 words. What, why, where, who, when. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So this information is stored in dimension. Whatever information you can classify in terms of what, why, where, who, when, and not by its
Uh-huh.
quantity is classified as dimension. And effect is the measure of that dimension. So an example of a dimension is customer table. In customer table, you might have customer name, customer last name, customer's age, all the details about what, why, where, when, who. And in a fact table, let's say we will call our fact table as sales. So a fact table will specify that how much sales was done corresponding to this particular customer. So fact will specify how much information about a dimension.
Okay.
And this is homework for you. Read about star schema and snowflake schema. Do it today. Okay?
Okay.
Read about them. This is one of the good source, Kimball Group. Okay?
Okay.
So Mirza, we already had SQL. We already had our traditional database programming languages. Why do we need an ETL tool like Informatica? So the answer, as we discussed, that wherever we need to connect to multiple sources and we have to handle multiple kind of errors.
Can you give me a minute, please? Just give me a minute, please.
Sure. What happened?
Hello, this is Mirza. Yes, Avnish. Uh-huh.
So in Informatica architecture, let's say these are my source and these are my targets. They might be homogeneous or heterogeneous. They will interact with Power Center client through ODBC. I don't remember the full form of ODBC right now.
Online database connectivity.
Okay, great. So Mirza, it is for assuring that whatever source and target we are having, it is understandable to my client. My
Mm-hmm.
client here is my Power Center client. So if we are, let's say, specifying a XML source, we'll specify that my source is XML, and these are the tags which I am having in my XML. In that way, that XML will be readable to Informatica.
Okay.
Now this Informatica Power Center client will communicate with integration services. These integration services are a part of our node. Node is nothing but one of our physical machines where our Informatica server is installed. Okay?
Okay. I have one question on Node.
Mhm.
Uh, in one node, how many we can set up how many integration services?
As many as we want. As
Okay.
many as we want, that's the answer. But it is recommended to have one integration service for each node.
Okay.
So node is nothing but logical representation of a machine in a domain. Okay?
Okay.
Now let's talk about domain. A domain can have multiple nodes. So मिर्जा इसको ऐसे समझो एक डोमेन के अंदर मल्टीपल नोड्स होंगे and a node will have one integration service. One moment. There can be only one integration service corresponding to one node, Mirza. I'm sorry. Corresponding to a
Yes,
domain.
yes.
I'm very sorry. So the role of integration service is to maintain the connection between node and power center.
Okay,
Okay.
okay.
So the integration service extracts data from source, transforms the data as per instructions coded in our workflow, and it loads the data into targets. It maintains all this connectivity. Okay.
Okay. So, I'm sorry, integration service,
Mhm.
integration service, under integration service, like I say, like I have a source in Oracle, right?
That's not a part of integration service. Integration service is a channel of communication between our node and our data sources and targets. Okay.
Can you can you break it down integration service for me a little bit
It,
precise, please?
it is an integral unit. It cannot be broken down. I've given you the diagram. A domain can have multiple nodes, and the nodes will have integration service in order to communicate with sources and targets. Okay.
Okay.
So Mirza, there are a few more terms that come along in the same line. But let's finish this part first, the architecture part. So Mirza,
Uh,
part one will,
actually, I'm sorry, Upam. Before you go down, can you can you give me an example in real-time scenario?
Mirza, this is
Exactly.
real-time scenario.
Yes, I know, but exactly I like to know what is integration service part do from real-time scenario. You can take an example of my last project. That's fine.
So Mirza, let's say I have a domain installed on, my domain is indlin1350. That's the name of my
Okay,
domain, my Unix box, okay? Where my
okay,
Informatica is installed.
okay,
So that Unix box is accessible on multiple nodes. Again,
uh-huh,
node is a physical location,
okay,
physical machine location.
mhm,
Basically, it's logical representation of machine in a domain.
okay,
So one domain, which was my INDLIN, can have multiple nodes. A master gateway node is the one which hosts the domain. So master gateway node पर अपना INDLIN server installed है. Okay?
okay,
So we can configure these nodes to run application services. अब application services क्या होंगी? Integration service या repository service? अब समझ में
okay.
आया?
So integration service is not like a uh, it's in like a physical in physical system, not in server based, right?
Repeat your question.
Okay, integration service
Mhm.
in like a physical in stay in
One moment.
physical.
Let me pause the recording.
Okay,
So master gateway node is the one that hosts the domain. It is the machine on which my server is installed.
okay,
Now another rule about nodes is we can configure these nodes to run application services like integration service or repository service. और जो भी सारी रिक्वेस्ट जाएंगी वो सारी मास्टर गेटवे नोड के थ्रू जाएंगी। सपोज मेरे पास 10 नोड्स हैं मिर्जा, और उनमें से कोई एक मास्टर गेटवे नोड है। उन 10 नोड्स पे मेरे पास ये रिक्वेस्ट आई इंटीग्रेशन सर्विसेज के थ्रू, कुछ रिक्वेस्ट आई, तो रिक्वेस्ट पहले उन स्लेव नोड्स पे आएंगी और वो स्लेव नोड से वो इंफॉर्मेशन मास्टर गेटवे नोड पे फ्लो होगी। ओके
Okay, repeat one more time. I'm sorry.
ओके, वन मोमेंट। नाउ लेट्स टॉक अबाउट सर्विस मैनेजर। These are just some definitions that we need to remember. Okay.
Okay. Also, I don't know, like you have to explain me about the staging. I don't know where it will come, that part, but you have to explain to me staging. Yes.
Okay, Mirva, it is totally irrelevant here. Right now, we are discussing architecture.
Okay. Okay.
We will come back to it.
Okay.
So it is staging is basically where we are designing our ETL flow.
Okay. I'm sorry, Upam. Give me a minute, please.
Yep. Service manager is for supporting the domain and the application services. Service manager runs on each node in the domain. Service manager's role is to start and run the application services on a machine. Clear?
Yeah. Okay.
Application services are a group of services which represents
Hold on. Okay.
application services are a group of services which represents the Informatica server based functionality. Example
Informatica based
Informatica server based functionality. Could you read out the definition that you have written?
Yeah, just give me a minute.
Yeah.
Okay, application service are a group of service which represent the Informatica server-based functionality.
Application services are a group of services which represents the Informatica server based functionality. Example
Yes.
Power Center Repository Service. Integration Service. Data Integration Service. Metadata Management. लिख लिए, 2 एग्जाम्पल लिख लिए, काफी हैं. Done?
Yeah. Power Center repository service, integration service, data integration service, metadata manager service.
Metadata right? Management Service.
Oh.
Let's talk about some of them now. We talked about
Okay.
Power Center Repository Service. Let's talk about what a Power Center Repository is. Okay?
Okay.
मिर्जा इन्फॉर्मेटिका में जितना भी डेटा होता है ना, वो हमारी मेटाडेटा टेबल्स में स्टोर होता है. वन ऑफ देम इज सेस लॉग्स, ओडीटी अंडरस्कोर स्टार टेबल्स. देयर आर मल्टीपल मेटाडेटा टेबल्स इन इन्फॉर्मेटिका. हम कोई भी ऑब्जेक्ट क्रिएट करते हैं इन्फॉर्मेटिका में, इन टेबल्स में अपने आप एंट्री हो जाती है. We can query these tables and we can see that how many sources, how many targets are we having, how many mappings have we created till now, how many workflows have we ran, how many sessions are executed and are succeeded, how many sessions are failed, with what reason they have failed. All this data is stored in Informatica Power Center repository database. Okay?
Okay.
So the definition of Power Center repository goes like this. It is metadata storage for Informatica. Power Center repositories metadata store for Informatica.
Mhm.
So the metadata is stored in a relational database. Write it down.
I'm sorry.
The metadata is nothing but data about data, Mirza. Metadata. जब भी मैं metadata बोलता हूँ, it is data about data. Okay?
Okay.
मैंने कहा I have a table student which is containing student enrollment information. This table student is holding student enrollment information.
Mm-hmm.
Now the actual data is present inside student table. But
Yes.
what I am doing here is providing data about what is stored in student table. An example of metadata. So in Informatica repository database, we will be storing what all Informatica objects have we created. What are the properties that we have specified for those particular objects.
Okay.
So the definition you have written so far is the Informatica Power Center repositories is the store for metadata. Informatica metadata store. Right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So all those tables, all those relational tables contains the instruction to extract, transform and load data. अब यहाँ पे मैंने extract, transform और load यूज किया, मैं ETL भी यूज कर सकता था.
Uh,
Right?
can you give me can you pause the recording, please?
Sure.
Sorry.
So Mirza, when we talk about Power Center repository, we talk about the relational database in which our metadata is stored. When we talk about Power Center repository service, it is the service which accepts requests from client to create and modify the metadata in Power Center repository. Write it down.
Okay. Tell me.
Informatica Power Center repository service.
Mm-hmm.
It accepts requests from Informatica client to create and modify the metadata in Power Center repository.
Sorry. One more time. Informatica Power Center repository service.
Okay, Mirza, we talked about Informatica metadata, and I said that Informatica metadata also stored the information that when my particular workflow was run, when my particular session was executed.
Uh-huh.
So when I talk about those things, those requests are coming from integration service.
Okay.
Suppose I am raising a request to run a particular workflow, so that those updates needs to be made in our database, which is our Power Center repository.
Okay.
Understood?
Mm-hmm.
Great. Now, Mirza, we have a way of administrate all the Informatica activities. So, Informatica Administrator is a web application which is used to do this administration for us. It is used to administer the domain and Power Center security. Okay?
Okay.
You don't need to write it down. One moment. My account is credited with 6,300. Okay, fine. ओके मिर्जा, ये इंफॉर्मेटिका आर्किटेक्चर मैंने आपको बता दिया, इसको रिवाइज करेंगे. ओके, आई एम गोना फॉरवर्ड यू दैट बुक, रीड इट, ट्राई टू रिलेट व्हाट वी डिस्कस्ड. Now
Okay.
let's talk about some new features that are new to Informatica 9 that were not there in Informatica 8. So there is a new tool called Informatica Analyst, which was not there in Informatica 8. The lookup being active was not there in Informatica 8. Lookup is a active transformation from Informatica version 9.5.1, sorry, 9.1 afterwards. And that's pretty much that is important for an Informatica developer's perspective. Fine.
Yes.
So that concludes our Informatica architecture. Let's take a 10-minute break. Let's
Okay.
join back after 10 minutes and then we will discuss about transformations.
Okay.
Okay. So
Okay.
I am closing this meeting. We will rejoin after 10 minutes. Okay.
Okay.
Fine. Bye.